Hey, this is Crathian again. Here's a little bit of an ongoing review on my CBR500R. It now has over 200 miles on it. And I'll share with you a couple of extra impressions that I may not have included in my regular video review. It got a little bit buzzy up front, and I couldn't determine where it was coming from. This little bolt right here that holds on the windscreen area, it got loose, and so it started buzzing at low speed. Also, if you notice, the cable right here, it'll end up buzzing this a little bit. So if it's all the way over. So if you're just sitting there and you have your steering locked and it's touching, it might buzz right over there a little bit. Just a bit of fair warning. That's the only thing that I found that has come loose so far. Everything else has been totally rattle-free, and really, that was just a quick fix with the Allen wrench that's in the toolkit. I also have plenty of Allen wrenches in my other tools here in my garage, so it wasn't a big deal. As I said before, most of the fluid check level areas are really hard to get to. You can't really see them without taking stuff off the bike. Here's the rear brake fluid. There's the front brake fluid. You can't check the radiator fluid level without, getting into the bike a little bit. Unfortunately. I think that's the only design flaw, really, that, I just don't care for. Here's a little bit of a closer look at what Honda is calling a Pro Link suspension on this bike. Can't see it too well right here. Try to get in here a bit. So it is slightly adjustable, of course. You're only adjusting the preload, which, doesn't necessarily tighten or loosen your suspension. When you're adjusting preload, you are adjusting just how soon you get to the limits of the suspension. It doesn't change anything about the stiffness of the springs. So you might want to look up a good, in-depth suspension overview, what you can do to adjust it properly. There is a great one set up on CBR500 Riders, the forum group online, and it's quite informative. Other than that, the only thing that I've noticed is shifting back down into first from second, like say you're coming up to a stop sign and stuff. I don't really see it as a flaw. I've heard of a couple of other people complain about it a little bit. When you do, it will automatically flash the neutral indicator light on the gauge cluster for just a moment. I don't have a problem with it. Some people don't like it. And that shift from second back down into first is a little bit harder than, any of the other shifts on the bike. In fact, once you get out of third gear, you don't even feel the shifts anymore. They're like butter. I'm talking the shifts, down on the shifter, not through the whole body of the bike. That as far as shifts through the body of the bike, and how jerky they may or may not be, I don't have a single problem with the CBR500R. In fact, that way it just shifts beautifully. It's just right here, that shift from second down into first is a little bit harder than you would expect. Other than that, it's perfect. When you see the 500R symbols on the side of the bike, these are stickers. There are a couple of you know, cheap overseas manufacturers that are already replicating the sticker so you can get it in different colors. I'm considering changing mine to where the 500R is blue instead of red, just because most of my riding gear is blue, and I think it would be pretty damn cool to be a little bit different from the other bikes. Honda does have a sport screen available instead of the standard windscreen, and they're also talking about a taller touring windscreen. You know, someone asked on another video if the bike would be good for touring, you know, with 2-up and luggage. Well, you could probably get side luggage on both sides here. As far as a rear bag, I don't know if I would like it on the bike. It might work, it might not. I mean, if you look at where the passenger's going to be sitting, obviously they've got plenty of room right here, you know, and you could have a rear bag locked on. In fact, there's, you know, nice solid metal pieces right here for locking stuff onto. So you could have, you know, a nice hard luggage bag stuck back there and ride 2-up. You know, you just have to make sure your passenger isn't a very big person. Otherwise, they are just not going to fit. You know, you may want to consider getting a tank bag instead. You know, the bike does have a fairly upright seating position. Now, I can still get into a good tuck, you know, if I want to tuck in. Or I can sit, you know, virtually straight up to ride the bike. Really just depends on what I'm doing and how I feel at the moment. You know, if it's really hot, I like to sit up more. My jacket gives me much more comfort that way, because it's a nice mesh jacket. Oh, look, you can see me in the mirror. Hi. So, that's it. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, if there's anything else you want to know about the bike, just let me know. I'll try to answer your questions as best as I can. There are some differences between the regular 500R and the 500R with ABS. And I'll go ahead and take a look at and, you know, try to point out some of those differences from the manual on a later video. Until then, ride safe.